Hey guys, welcome to this week's Amateur Roundup. Of course, it is the last week before CWL Miami, and that means there has been a hell of a lot of roster changes, all of which we'll be covering in this video, including one that has gotten Pentagrxm in a little bit of a pickle. We'll be covering that, plus the EGC LCQ, as well as the After Action Report Winter Invitational in South Africa. Let's get right into it. Alright, so let's talk about the roster changes. We'll start with the European ones because there's actually a lot less of them. Of course, as I said, this is the final week of roster changes before CWL Miami. I think roster lock, it might be Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe. So teams will have to sort themselves out, and this is why you're going to start to see a lot of these final rosters come together. So we'll start with the European roster changes. You have Xlink Esports. They picked up Aoife, Camo, Stirpe, Sora, and Slayer. Now, to be honest, this isn't really a relevant roster change to CWL Miami. They're probably picking up a team for the Game Police Open held by CTP. So that's that roster. Supras joining Movistar Riders, more of an official announcement than anything. Of course, he's been playing with Movistar Riders for the past couple of weeks, actually, in the 1K and, of course, the amateur qualifier. So not really news, to be honest, there. And actually, to be fair, probably the biggest thing coming from Europe this week is the Atlas Lions have made a roster change. Divinity is out. It's caused a bit of commotion. Maple is in. A lot of people have been saying Maple. I mean, the change is kind of understandable, and I agree. So their roster now: Hixie, Beanbag, Aroma, Callum, and Maple. They will be attending Miami. Now getting into the North American changes, a number of organizations have finally picked up teams, including Carnage Gaming, Mount Olympus Gaming, Forfeit Gaming, and Fury Gaming. However, what's more interesting is a lot of teams that have already been established making some final changes. You've got RBL Esports. They've brought in Nelson and Pemby to round out the roster, but also removed Fatal, so technically they're speaking, they are still LF1. You have Hyperbeam Esports. Last week I told you guys that they picked up a few players. Now they've had Spark being removed from that roster. They're bringing Disarray from the UK and Hitman from North America, so that hybrid roster still bringing in some more European talent, as it were. Elsewhere, you've got Mosh and Pawns going from In Control Gaming to free agents, Horror and Nova replacing them there, and with Encrypted Gaming, I think it was like two or 3 weeks ago now, they announced their roster. Pacer has gone from that team, and Fellow has joined the All-Star lineup, so that's a very, very good team. Other notable stuff, realistically, Team Tommy, they've been joined up to Sicario Gaming, and finally, we'll be talking about Pentagrxm going from hybrid gaming to free agencies to Samino, Spoof, Panda, and BZ. Now, not looking for one per se. They have found a replacement. We just don't know who it is yet. But let's talk about that a little bit more in depth. Alright, so let's get into the Pentagrxm situation. Now, if you don't know who Pentagrxm is, he is a top amateur North American player for hybrid gaming, or no longer. Also a substitute for the pro team Elevate. Now, if you are a substitute for a pro team, the likelihood of it is you will end up being used for that team. And of course, hybrid, they knew that, picking up Pentagrxm within their new roster. Now, this is exactly what happened on your screen. You can see an explanation, screenshots, I presume, from a pro player talking about the situation and how it went down. So Lacefield, apparently there's some issues with him on Elevate Esports. Of course, that has ramifications for that team within the Pro League and, of course, at the CWL Miami playoffs. They were going to use Pentagrxm as their starter. They were going to replace him. MLG denied said change before the roster lock. We're unsure of the reasons for that. But because of the fact that Hybrid Gaming weren't really made aware of the situation, as soon as they found out that this was happening, that Pentagrxm was practicing with the Elevate starting lineup, they replaced him on their own lineup with a currently unnamed fifth. So Pentagrxm has kind of been left in the water here, you know, dead in the water hours before roster lock when I recorded this video, at the very least. We can take a look at what BZ said as a response to said post on Reddit. He said, "I love Nate and I feel absolutely terrible for him, and I truly hope for the best for him. You cannot win without trust, and once trust is broken, it's broken. He made me a promise that he wouldn't put us in this position, and he did, and whatever decision he made not only affects his life, but the life of 4 other players, a coach, and an organisation investing tens of thousands of dollars. I honestly feel like he was manipulated in this situation by Elevate, and they handled it like a complete complete amateur organisation. And then he goes on to quote, some people create their own storms and then get upset when it rains. So BZ obviously placing a little bit of blame obviously on Pentagrxm and the organisation itself, which is kind of interesting. This does have ramifications for both Elevate, as I said, as a pro team, and now of course Hybrid Gaming, who do have an unnamed fifth, and that could cause a chain reaction for Rostermania. I presume they will be picking up a top player in North America. So when we know who that is, we will bring a video out about that. But Pentagrxm now left dead in the water, only hours before roster lock. It's unlikely that he will get a roster. So pretty bad. It feels bad, man, for Pentagrxm. But that's going to do it for the Pentagrxm story. Let's get into our roundup of this week's events. And just a quick roundup of the EGCL Season 3 LCQ results. 41 teams went in looking for 10 playoff spots. And of course, only 10 teams could get out. And the 10 teams that did qualify are as follows: Corrupt Light GG, Stardom Esports, Future Gaming, Stardom GG, Obtained Esports, Buzzkill, Finesse, Viperio, Team Viral, and Revive Nation. So congratulations to those 10 teams. Those are the teams that managed to qualify for the 40-team EGCL Season 3 playoffs. And those playoffs, I believe, will be on the 26th to the 28th of July. So if you do want to watch that, it'll be at twitch.tv/European Esports Gaming TV. But those are the teams that qualified for that. Let's get into our final news item of the week. Alright, so to cap off this week's show, we're going to be talking about the After Action Report Winter Invitational. If you don't know what it is, it's a community-built tournament made by Shani ZA, a caster in South Africa. It's got some of the top South African teams participating. 8 teams went in, 4 teams made it to Weekend 2, and at the end of Weekend 1, we had to say goodbye to Percussion Gaming, Evo Esports, White Rabbit Gaming, and Elite Gaming. Moving on to Weekend 2, it's Bravado Gaming, Vinco Gaming, X1 Esports, and Energy Esports. And if you do want to watch the conclusion of the After Action Report Winter Invitational, you can catch all the action at twitch.tv/Shani ZA on the Saturday, the 20th of July. Alright, so that's going to do it for this week's video. Thank you to everyone for watching the 4th amateur roundup. We are moving it officially to Mondays now. It's just better so we can catch all the weekend's news as and when it happens on the Monday straight after it does. Again, thank you all for watching. If you like the video, please like and subscribe to my channel for more amateur Call of Duty esports updates. As always, I'd like you to comment to see what I could do better to improve these videos. Again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.